Oh my goodness, there you are. Thank you again for joining me a little bit on this build journey. And we're just building some software. I'm trying to zoom through some of the boring parts and just build this together, build this fast. Certainly have some advantages on our side with all of our little toys. Now, it's been 2 weeks since the last meaningful recording. I apologize for that. I think the format of these might change a little bit so that could be more enjoyable for everybody. A lot has happened over the last 2 weeks. First, spent after that last video quite a bit of time trying to work .NET 8 into my overall design for what I want to build and how quickly I want to build it. And I did kind of backpedal. I did hit a moment where I decided, I've already accomplished in .NET 7 every goal we set out to accomplish with our underlying approach. There's a few little nuances that I just was unable to track completely down in terms of standing up a federated identity server using .NET 8's identity providers that could service the multi-lazy module and common module stack that we've got, and some hardships around the pre-rendering versus some of the other run modes, and I backpedaled. So I undid a couple of the changes to the renamer kit. I flipped over to one of my kind of base .NET 7 build templates, and I just kept going. So most of this will be quite familiar. Account module is up and happy, and I think that was the case before. We'll get to know him a little better, but it's the whole idea. It's a tucked away little module that encapsulates a standalone set of behaviors that can be exposed to and shared with kindly those in its around it, depending on its posture and whether it's a preloaded or lazy loaded. Same with Liveroom. This has seen a few updates, just really tidying it up and making sure it's ready to go. It's quite a bit of time making sure Liverooms does the few things we expect it to do, and making sure that questions and answers you'll see as I went through the first two sprints, weekly sprints where I got to. As you know from the beginning, if you were here, the first goal, the first sprint was to get a basic site up. Can I log in? Can I create a room? Can I have other people go to that room? And that was it, right? Just getting from nothing to a functioning site that has its earliest senses of security or authentication, authorization. Met that goal for sure. That was fantastic. So in 1 week, went from nothing, pretty much like you saw. We were doing some preamble, but took what we had, applied it, and was able by the end of a 5 workday session to deploy a functional that much. Then the second week's goal was to really bring in the participant experience and get SignalR fully turned on and all of the dance and humaha that goes with that. And I meet you today at the end of Sprint 2. And so I'll be able to give you a nice demo of where we're at. And then hopefully we'll work together to find a pattern. What keeps this interesting and worth sharing while being edutaining and useful in your build journeys. And oh my, we have overcome so many tiny little battles to get to where we are. If you're struggling in any of those moments, or you think any of that is worth slowing down and doing a deeper dive, please mention in the comments or reach out in some fashion and help me influence the direction of these conversations. I want to show you the demo, and then we'll kind of go back and look at what has been put together, and not a lot going on there. We got plenty of work left to do together, but true to the goal, we also have shippable increments. So week 1, we were able to kind of get this far. Is stuff turned on? Does stuff basically work? Can I log in? If I log in, can I create a room? And then, we came back, and I think in the week one we were able to add this, like this ability to jump into rooms you've already created. Here's my new room. I'm going to create that. This room is unclaimed, so I could claim this room. And as a business, and someone who will eventually be paying something for this experience, here is a growing catalog of the modules that you might own or could buy into. And from these, once I claim this room, I'll be able to choose. So I own this live polling module, so it's in this own features list. I can set that live polling module as the active module, and I can do some interacting with the clients. Let me close that, and we're going to sit here a minute, and we're going to let these folks get caught up. So let's, and this is just Chrome versus Edge, so that they have different sessions. So I'm logged in here. I am not logged in any of these. Okay, so 3 participants have joined the session. These could be people in the room. These could be people hearing you on a live call. These could be, maybe you're on stage, or maybe you're streaming. Whatever it is, you want to interact with a large, potentially or small, anonymous audience. We're ready to go. Now I'm going to turn live polling back on. All of the client devices have updated, waiting for the next question. And we're going to say, are you here? And we're going to give you yes, no, unsure as options. And I'm going to click ask. And every connected client to my room, cell phones, tablets, laptops, desktops, Xboxes, they should all be able to participate. And then they can go about the art of yes, yes, unsure, and in real time, we are seeing the results of voting that's taking place. Ta-da! Super cool. That was super cool. And you've made it this far. You might as well smash that like button to let me know that that's pretty cool for a week 2 demo. Yes. Let's do another one here. How awesome. I'm going to ask that. Then a stickler in the crowd so we can see the chart change shape. Super cool, super cool. We got another trick up our sleeves for week 2 here. Another trick up our sleeves. How's it? What is your favorite feature so far? We're going to leave possible answers empty, just ask this question, and now it's an open-ended text questions. All right, super cool, super cool. Clear that question. I'm going to close live polling, which put all of these into this sort of waiting on the host posture. And now I'm going to go to reports. So it's not glorious yet. It's very early. We have so much left to do. But, the beginnings of some lazy loaded injected, lazily injected loaded. There's so much cool stuff happening here. Let me give you a example. If we go back here and make sure the module's cleared out, and I'm chilling here, I'm going to open, it may be interesting to some of you, I'm going to open this network tab here. Going to get a fresh load of this much of our behaviors, right? And if you watch at the bottom here, what comes next is what's going to be called next. If we come up here and push everybody into that posture, in order for this room to satisfy that, it actually had never loaded the lazy module live fully. So if for some reason, maybe it's an admin module or a different module and the subscription is not there or the payment is lapsed or for any number of reasons, we could actually withhold entire chunks of this application, or said the other way, this whole thing unpacks itself as you move around, or in this case, as the host moves you around your experience, creating a ultra fast, ultra lightweight, just a really nice situation for our end users. I'm very excited. I think you can tell. Now, before we shift too far into code, uh, doing the right thing, trying to practice the cheapest, fastest, easiest to be wrong, and really focused on communication over design in terms of what you see next. Even if you're just a team of one, but it's critical if you're two or five or 10 or 50 and you're trying to organize together around how everyone delivers on a sequenced order of meaningful outcomes that someone can say, yes, please, thank you, may I have another for. You must explore all of those domains. You must explore how do we talk visually. So when we say and think and organize around the same things, we mean the same things. And each in that moment, just in time, having a rich conversation that ensures we all know the important things together. Mm. The conversations you're having on the inside your head, must manifest at least a single one-liner on a sticky note, right? There must be a physical representation of everything meaningful, or else we just don't rightly know how to organize it and work with it. On the quest to make sure we have shippable increments rapidly, and we can get to a highly satisfying, functional prototype of a reflection of the ideas of the original builder, whomever requested the build, that we have to do it this way. So we go back and forth between updating how we talk to each other visually and how we talk to each other in our domain and in the words that we use to describe our challenge, problem, opportunity versus the words that we're using to describe our solutioning. And so we're doing all of these, applying all of these fantastic forces to that same goal, to be able to ship these quality, valuable, usable increments. We drew some stuff. So ultimately, we have a user flow and a host flow. So the user needs to be able to come to a place where they can join a room. Once they're in a room, they could be waiting on a host. Once they're waiting on a host to decide, what posture to put that room in. Now they're waiting, in this case, for live polling on the next question. We're mostly working out live polling right now. Maybe a question got pushed. We kind of saw that in the demo. Got some work to do here, right? With different features and moments we can point out and talk about facilitation of multi-choice voting and stuff for a future build. And back to waiting on question, and at some point the room can close. And down here in the host flow, same pretty much. Opening scenes. This time we get logged in, create a room. Once we're in there, we could see the idea here of being able to access different modules. As those modules become enabled, then we would be able to push the room into these different situations. Super cool, lazy modules. Once we get into for live polling again, should probably call that out here like we did above to make that obvious. We can push a question, we can push some multi-choice, we can have some quick questions and some quick answers, we can toggle this auto show of results and multi-voting, single voting, and ultimately we want to affect the client's experience. Right now we have it kind of working here for the host of what kind of chart, how do we want to see this data visually when we're sharing those results. And then we have ambitions for like some admin stuff around room reports, exporting room data, room contacts we'll learn more about, and clearing room data. We're also starting to keep track of and will deliver on the side, even if we're not necessarily going to push it public right away, a second module just to make sure we can fully exercise all of the levers that we need to be installing along the way to make these things rightly configurable and marketable and sellable and reconcilable at accounts, things of this nature. Super exciting! Let's look at code. Back over into code. Quick reminder of what's going on. We have our Blazor server. Doesn't have anything going on. This is just pre-rendering for the client. It does have a lot of obnoxious ways to sort of deal with live server side that's different than client side. There is a server side service for the direct access to the database that the API does have, and then the Blazor server also has access to, where the Blazor disconnected client needs to use the application shared data connection service, which does require the HTTP client. Anyway, the client is just a WASM bootstrapper for all of our modules. So again, it's going to be really thin, not a lot going on. The whole point of this cat is to get pre-rendered and then get loaded up, and then once loaded up, a lot of the magic does live here in the app Razor, where we are handling routing and eventing and sort of management of our initial state caching. Super cool. So then Blazor client pops up just like every other module, and it has access to everything in Commons. So Commons, where we handle our master layout pages and what else? Shared services, some managed rendered fragments, some look and feel stuff. We have a little bit of a dance going on, moving from the mud static default theme on the server, the one on the client, and then what is provided from the database based on the site that you're visiting. So multi-tenancy is enabled. I think I might move this still, but if we go back out to accounts, there we go. Businesses have subscriptions to owned modules, and those owned modules are representative of these lazy modules. It's all coming together so nicely. Makes me very, very happy. And then if we watch the dance that's taking place in the URL up here, here we understand that we're actually talking to the live host admin RCL project. So if we wanted to go look at that for a minute, live host and reporting live in the admin RCL project, which basically just a blazorwasm project that compiles a little differently, gets used a little differently. This is what's lazily loaded. This is what's injected. Functionality. If we pop over to polling, we're going to see the same dance where we have participate hosts out here and participate up here. So every time you move around here, we're going to get routed. So in this case, if you just watch my new room, all right, so I'm on live host, route to room name. Claim this room, pop into live polling, and sub-route then with same room name to live polling administration. Right. Yeah, so cool. Now, if we go the other way and we log out, we'll pop into one we already own, ASDF. So here we're in live room, and we have our room name, ASDF. We're going to keep track of that. When we open the live polling modules for everyone, we've moved from live room name over to now, this is an injection. This is now a lazy injection of the live polling module participate host. Very happy with how all these pieces are kind of coming together. The asynchronicity, the database saving, the signal R signals, it's all coming together quite nicely. And I hope you'll join me in celebrating KP and the little bit I got to do as we march forward on getting this product pushed out and continuing to exercise our kits and practice our .NET skills and just having a lovely time over here. I hope you're having an amazing time, and when we get back together, we'll explore some more code. Happy to answer the kinds of questions that you have coming up, and I look forward to you helping out a lovely community that can inform us and be happy with us and be sad with us and help us grow an amazing product that can change the way the audience, the crowd, the many to one conversation can happen anonymously in real time. that the unique voice and the quietest voice and the loudest voice, the best idea and the worst ideas, all from all of us, can come to be knowable and be known. The quality of the question and the ability to engage in the many to one. Gets me excited. Hope you're having a beautiful day. That's the end of week 2. We will see you at the end of sprint 3. Cheers. Dum, bum, bum.